Have you ever entered a trade and had to wait hours before it moved 10, 20, even 30 pips? I think most of us have been there. Now, if you're still struggling with this, you're in the right place. Watch to the very end of this video to find out what times are best to trade your favorite pairs. Ready? Let's go. Welcome back to the video, everyone. Today we're going to learn all about the Forex trading sessions. Now, the first thing you should know is that there are four main trading sessions that we observe in the Forex market. First is the Sydney session, then Tokyo session, London session, followed by New York session. Now, there are specific time frames in which these sessions are active throughout the day. Being that I'm on Eastern Standard Time, I'll base everything on EST time. Let's start with Sydney session. Sydney session is going to start from 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way up to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, once the Forex market opens up on Sunday, this is the first session that's usually active. During this session, trading is open for Australia and New Zealand. As a result, pairs that include the Australian dollar or the New Zealand dollar, or both, are going to be the ones that have the most volume at this time. Hence, be the ones that are going to give you the most movement at the time. Now, if my favorite pair is the European dollar versus the Japanese pound, it probably isn't the most favorable time to be trading that instrument. Instead, I should be looking to trade Australian dollars or New Zealand dollars. Pairs that include those instruments are probably more favorable for that time, probably giving me the volume I need to get to my 10, 20, 30 pips much faster. The next session is the Tokyo session. This session starts from 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way to 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, this session brings in our first overlap. Notice that the Sydney session started at 4 p.m. and you have the Tokyo session starting at 7 p.m. There is going to be an overlap there. Now, during this overlap, you have more pairs that are going to be favorable to be traded during that time. For example, the Australian dollar versus the Japanese pound pair, or you can have the New Zealand dollar versus the Japanese pound pair. Both countries' currencies are currently trading and active during this time. Plenty of volume coming into both markets. So those are probably going to be the most favorable to be traded during that overlap. Now, going farther into the Tokyo session, this is when a lot of the Asian countries are doing their trading. So pairs like the Japanese yen are going to be the most favorable to be traded during this time because the sessions are the most active right now. The next session is going to be London session. Now, this is one of the most popular sessions because it's the most volatile session. During this session, many parts of Europe are doing their trading during this time. As a result, pairs that include the European dollar as well as the Great British Pound are going to be the most favorable to be traded during this time. Now, there's also an overlap between the end of Tokyo session and the beginning of London session. And pairs like the Great British Pound versus the Japanese yen are going to be the most favorable to be traded during this overlap. London session is going to be from about 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Many big moves can happen during this time, being that the session is very volatile. But that brings us to the crossover between London session and our next session, New York session. The New York session starts at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time all the way to 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, the crossover between the London session and the New York session happens between 8 a.m. and 11 a.m. During this time frame, we have the most volume in the Forex market, and it's also my personal favorite time frame as well. Now, going into New York and London crossover, pairs that may be very favorable to be traded during this time could be pairs like European dollar versus the US dollar, or the Great British Pound versus the US dollar. Those pairs are going to be the most favorable during that time, being that both countries are very active in their trading during that time frame. Now, going further into the New York session, pairs that contain the US dollar are going to be the most favorable to be traded during this time. Ultimately, if you're in a trade and it's not moving much, you need to analyze if you're in the right session for that particular pair. If you're not in the right session for that pair based on what we just discussed, then you have a decision to make. Either you should find a pair that's more favorable for the time frame that you can trade in, or you may have to change the time frame that you're trading in to match that pair. Either way, you want to put yourself in the best environment to capture the most volume possible. This is going to greatly enhance your trading and is going to prevent you from long-winded trades that you don't need to be in. Not to mention, when you're trading a pair that's not favorable for the current session, the spreads typically will be much higher. So to avoid higher spreads and avoid low volume, you want to be sure that you're matching the pairs that you love to trade with the sessions that are best to trade them in. So I hope you guys gain value in this video. If you have been trading the wrong pair for the wrong session time, be sure to adjust that. And in the comments, let me know what your favorite pair to trade is and what time you like to trade it. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Jordan the Maestro. Until next time, peace.